story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
It is Monday. It is Monday. I beg your pardon. I'm looking at two different things. Sorry about that. It is Thursday, the 4th of November, 2021, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right here, right now, on this very special edition of Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We are not having our usual opening because we have to go live any moment now to the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, otherwise known as RP21, Building Resilient Economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. It started on the 1st, which was Monday. Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I said Monday as well. But never mind. But we did carry a part. I think we carried the opening 9 to 10 on Monday, the 1st of November. And it ends today, the 4th of November. It's a virtual event. And so having carried the opening ceremony here on Power 106 FM on Monday, here now is the closing ceremony also on Power 106 FM. It's the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, scheduled to get underway any moment now with the national anthem, followed by opening remarks by Mrs. Paula Ann Porter-Jones, followed by Elizabeth Riley, Executive Director of the Paula Ann Porter-Jones will be doing emceeing duties. Ms. Elizabeth Riley is the Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. And then there is going to be a summary video of the conference. Naturally, we'll be carrying the audio. Special representative of the United Nations, Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, and head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, Ms. Mami Mitsutori, will be speaking. So too, the Honorable Brigadier retired, Mr. Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Then the chair summary and declaration will be delivered, followed by an item. And then we will hear from the Honorable Desmond Mackenzie, Minister of Local Government and Community, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, the Honorable Desmond Mackenzie. And then closing remarks by Paula Ann Porter-Jones. It's not a lengthy program by any stretch of the imagination. It's being streamed live by the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, on YouTube, JIS TV on YouTube. And I believe a couple of Facebook pages are included in that as well. And so we're standing by for that. So the event is of an environmental nature, and we know that we're still in the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and we cannot afford to let down our guard at any time as far as disaster risk reduction is concerned. In fact, I believe there is, which month is it? Is it May? Last year and this year as well, May is supposed to be observed as Disaster Risk Reduction Month. But we've also learned that as of next year, 2022, the Atlantic hurricane season will officially begin on the 1st of May. As of May 2022, that's one can expect a lot of public awareness, sensitization initiatives to signal that things have been so dynamic in the environment, weather-wise and climate-wise, that adjustments have to be made. So whereas we've been accustomed to the Atlantic hurricane season starting in June, well, not anymore as of next year. It will start in May. So first of all, let's get going by assuming the proper position for the national anthem.
Thank you. Please be seated. Honorable Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. Honorable Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Honorable Homer Davis, Minister of State in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Mayors and Chairmen of Parish Councils. Ms. Mami Mitsutori, representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. Ms. Elizabeth Riley, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agencies, CEOs and donors, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, in person or online, good afternoon and welcome. It has been 4 days of comprehensive discussions, deliberations, debates, ideas, solutions, decisions. 30 different sessions, over 100 speakers, and finally today we celebrate the reaping of the fruits of our labor. This is the closing ceremony of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. I'd like you to help me welcome to the microphone our first speaker, Ms. Elizabeth Riley. She will be including in her presentation an executive summary of the proceedings for the past 4 days. Please help me welcome her, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. And she is online.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development of Jamaica, and other honorable ministers of the Government of Jamaica, the Honorable Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Ms. Mami Mizuturi, Special Representative of the Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction in the UNDRR, other honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, national disaster coordinators of CIDIMA participating states, conference participants, a warm good afternoon and greetings from Barbados. I first want to congratulate the government of Jamaica and the honorable minister on what has been a successful hosting of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. Honorable Minister, your leadership has been exemplary, and the CIDIMA Coordinating Unit looks forward to your continued support. I also wish to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, who has provided strong support in leading the resilience charge in Guyana, here at the regional platform and within the CIDIMA system. This augurs very well for us going forward, since the change we need must be politically led and supported. Congratulations are also in order to the UNDRR, which continues to be a value-added leader and partner in the area of disaster risk reduction in this region. This week's event is nothing short of a landmark occasion, with the hosting of the conference for the first time by a Caribbean small island developing states. For all CIDIMA participating states, this is indeed a point of pride, and we hope that it will not be the last occasion where one of our Caribbean SIDS is afforded this honor. In this forum, our focus has been squarely on the importance of building resilience. We've been provided with the opportunity to reflect on how we can more effectively address the increasing economic and human costs of disasters in the Americas and the Caribbean. 2020 and 2021 have indeed demonstrated the complexity and systemic nature of the hazards which we face in this region.
Paro 106 FM's special broadcast featuring the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, RP21, will resume in just a moment.
You're listening to Paro 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Members of the public who are due their second dose of the Pfizer vaccine must make an appointment to receive that dose. Appointments can be made online at moh.gov.jm or by calling the vaccination call center at 888-1-LOVE. That is 888-663-5683. Persons who visit a vaccination site without their appointment will be inconvenienced by long wait times and may not receive their dose on the day. Once members of the public have their appointments confirmed, they should visit their vaccination site at the time of their appointment with a copy of their vaccination card, their government-issued identification, or a letter from a justice of the peace. Children between 12 and 18 years old should take along a copy of their birth certificate.
Living in the positive, and I know good, we conquer evil.
Both sides of the story, linking Jamaicans in the diaspora with Jamaicans of like mind in Jamaica.
Indeed, it's a special edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're taking the live feed of the closing ceremony of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, RP21, under the theme Building Resilient Economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. More now.
Forward to matters emerging through the regional platform in order to effect the change that is needed in this part of the world, a region which is amongst the world's most vulnerable to extreme weather events and seismic activity. And our regional plan of action is key to moving us in the right direction. Many of you, as am I, will also be paying very close attention to the outcomes of COP26 concurrently taking place in Glasgow and the conversations around damage and loss, and how this will support the delivery of Priority 3 of the Sendai Framework
on investment in disaster risk reduction for resilience. In closing, I would like to extend special thanks to the UNDRR and the SEDIMA Coordinating Unit teams, which have, along with ODPEN Jamaica, worked behind the scenes to deliver a successful regional platform in 2021. Thank you to all participants who've shared experiences, lessons learned, successes, and knowledge towards building resilience in the Americas and the Caribbean. I thank you. It is now my pleasure to present the chair's summary of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. This 7th session of the Regional Platform has taken place at a pivotal time as we look towards social and economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, as countries convene at COP26 to define commitments with regards to the climate crisis, and as we look towards an increased cooperation and solidarity among countries to address the multiple risks that put growth and sustainable development in jeopardy. The more than 30 sessions and the broad range of discussions that took place over these past 4 days brought together thousands of people from throughout the region, sharing their expertise, concerns, perspectives, and ideas, and thus contributing to actions that will make our region more resilient. From the Songhees and Esquimalt nations in British Columbia, Canada to the Southern Cone, we had over 2,500 people connected through our peaceful digital platform and a remarkable following through social media and through our website live stream, more than 35,000 views, making this the most attended regional platform for disaster risk reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean to date. But we also broke other very significant records. This has also been the first regional platform session to be preceded by a youth forum for disaster risk reduction. The first one to have a representative from the youth speaking at the opening event. The first one to invite a representative of the youth to the ministerial and high-level authorities meeting. And the first one to end with concrete recommendations made to ensure the youth are part and parcel of our collective efforts to reduce disaster risks and build resilience. Building on the adage and the remarkable and continuous contributions of representatives of people with disabilities to the regional platform, nothing about them without them. Climate and disaster resilience requires meaningful, transformative, and inclusive cooperation, with consideration for a multitude of social and economic factors at all levels with appropriate resourcing. Since its onset, the COVID-19 pandemic has derailed development trajectories across the region. Similarly, social and economic inequalities have also been exacerbated. Great emphasis was placed on the key role of women as leaders and key agents of change to build resilient development pathways. The pandemic can also serve as a catalyst for human rights-based meaningful change, as it has shown us the vital importance of collaboration and building alliances across critical sectors throughout the region. Opportunities for collaboration include strengthening data sharing at country level and across the region, and increased provision of evidence-based scientific research and analyses for decision-making. Countries of the region, informed by civil society and youth consultations, adopted a revised action plan for the implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. A primary concern was to ensure that the regional action plan integrates the systemic nature of risk and the lessons learned from the pandemic, including the need to strengthen risk governance and the articulation between disaster risk reduction and public health. Among the elements that were strengthened in this plan are the linkages with mechanisms of social protection to protect the most vulnerable, the crucial role of the private sector in disaster risk reduction, and the importance of ensuring the access to basic services and the resilience of critical infrastructure. There was a special effort of all delegations to ensure the inclusivity of the Regional Action Plan, leaving no one behind. The ministerial and high-level authorities meeting with representatives of 29 countries of the region culminated with the adoption of a declaration that includes commitments on critical aspects that need to be addressed in the face of the complexity of the pandemic recovery, the climate challenge, and the need for higher ambition in the implementation of the Sendai framework in tandem with the 2030 Agenda. Strengthening multi-sectoral, multi-stakeholder, and multi-level risk governance and boosting the investments in resilience come fundamental to achieving these goals. Social contracts that collectively manage risks are required, anchored in universal systems of social protection. The ministerial meeting was attended by the Honorable Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and 10 other ministers of different countries, holding different portfolios and signaling the importance of these discussions for the social, political, and economic future of our region. The ministerial declaration, the youth declaration, the civil society declaration, and the adjusted regional action plan, and a chair summary capturing only a snapshot of the rich discussions held during these last 4 days can be found at the regional platform's webpage. The Most Honorable Andrew Holness, ON, GC, MP, Prime Minister of Jamaica, in his opening remarks, called upon all nations in the region and on participants of this regional platform to reflect upon required measures to address the impacts of disasters and facilitate resilient economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. We want to thank all participants, organizations, agencies, community leaders, speakers, and particularly session organizing teams for having responded to that call over these last 4 days and having contributed to making our societies more resilient. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elizabeth Riley. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we get a chance to take a sneak peek. It is time for a summary video of the conference.
I warmly welcome you as we commence a range of critical conversations through this 7th regional platform for disaster risk reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean.
This is a particularly special occasion with historic responsibilities, as it is the first time that Jamaica, an English-speaking, small island developing state in the Caribbean, has been asked to be the host. This is encouraging and motivating for us as we continue our function as a sub-regional focal point for SIDEMA.
We will address how to protect the environment and communities, discuss challenges posed by human displacement, explore strategies to strengthen early warning systems, urban resilience and governance, and how to deal with multiple hazards.
In discussing resilience, you're discussing a complex issue, and there is a need for us to work together.
A peek into the past 4 days. Success. Ladies and gentlemen, you would have seen her, or you did see her in the video a short while ago. We now are able to listen to her as she addresses us virtually. Please, a round of applause for the special representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, Ms. Mami Mitsutori.
Thank you very much, Honorable Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Brigadier Mark Phillips, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Ms. Elizabeth Riley, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agencies, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean has been a breath of fresh air on the path to building a region that is ready to reduce risk and to avoid the creation of new risk.
We'll hear more from Ms. Mami Mitsutori, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, speaking at the closing ceremony for the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. Pension order vouchers with payable dates in November 2021 may be encashed as of Thursday, November 4. Collect all your payments for the month at your convenience. Simply visit your designated post office. Please note, pension vouchers can only be encashed at your post office. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Did you know that the National Irrigation Commission Limited is the sole authority for irrigation systems in Jamaica? The National Irrigation Commission Limited enables the improvement in agricultural productivity through the provision of efficient and affordable irrigation to farmers and other customers. Contact them 977-6624 or 977-6727 or visit their website www.nicjamaica.com to learn more. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
Ms. Mami Mitsutori, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, continues her delivery to the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. It's their closing ceremony, the opening ceremony having been held on Monday, the 1st of November. Here now is the closing ceremony on the 4th. And as we said, Mami Mitsutori is at the lectern. Let's listen.
Predictable. This week, we have reiterated our commitment to reducing mortality, the numbers of people affected by disasters, damage to critical infrastructure, and economic losses as set out in the Sendai Framework, and to align our actions with the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Agreement, and the New Urban Agenda. That requires that countries step up their efforts to develop and implement national and local disaster risk reduction strategies. The Ministerial Declaration is an inspiring document with inputs from the civil society and youth. With the participation of 29 countries, mainly from the Caribbean and under the leadership of Jamaica, new commitments have been made. One of them relates to the key role that youth play in DRR strategies. This follows logically from the energy and enthusiasm of the first youth forum held a few days before the official opening and whose findings were shared at the ministerial meeting. The youth forum will now be a feature of all future regional platforms. One of the most important themes of this platform has been the connection between increasing disaster risks and climate change, echoing many of the concerns expressed this week at COP26. And I am hopeful that the COP26 will raise levels of commitment to action on both mitigation and adaptation. Today's Adaptation Gap report from UNEP makes for sober reading. Estimated adaptation costs in developing countries are 5 to 10 times greater than what they currently receive. This is unacceptable and needs to be addressed. This regional platform has been a reminder that we need a green and sustainable recovery from the pandemic. Funding and other supports for the implementation of adaptation plans and DRR strategies must be part of that. Your discussions this week will feed into the midterm review of the implementation of the Sendai framework. And I invite you all to join us at the global platform to bring with you many of the unique insights and perspectives of Americas and the Caribbean. I would like to thank and recognize the valuable contribution from our donors and partners that have made this a successful event. The U.S. Agency for International Development, Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, European Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operations of the European Commission, High Commission of Canada, German Agency for International Cooperation, and the Climate Risk and Early Warning Systems Initiative. I once again express my sincere gratitude to the government of Jamaica and SEDIMA for joining us in making this successful event happen, despite the pandemic. And I deeply regret that I could not be there in person to experience Jamaica's legendary hospitality, but we should take pride in the record virtual attendance, more than 2,500 participants and more than 45,000 views online. I also reiterate my gratitude to the representatives of the public sector, the private sector, academia, civil society, communities, and the public. And I would also like to thank, with your permission, my own dear team at the Regional Office of the UNDRR, led by Raul Salazar, for their tireless efforts in making this regional platform a great success. The success of this regional platform has been due precisely to this broad representation of so many different sections of society, particularly the youth. It is clear that the region has a firm grasp of the challenges that lie ahead and is on the right track to a resilient future. Thank you very much.
Ms. Mami Mitsutori, Special Representative of United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, speaking at the closing ceremony for the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. Let's listen.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and people of Guyana, I wish to extend gratitude to Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and Honorable Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development of Jamaica. I thank you for your stewardship in staging the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. In particular, I must congratulate you for bringing this important and auspicious event home to the Caribbean for the first time. I must also extend my deep appreciation to Ms. Mami Mitsutori, Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Reduction, for your efforts and support to make this event possible. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the work of Ms. Elizabeth Riley, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, for your leadership at the Caribbean level in disaster risk reduction. Reflecting on the theme, building resilient economies in the Americas and the Caribbean, we will not and cannot wait for the end of a pandemic to act. I must say that the very nature of hosting this conference is a demonstration of resilience. In this regard, we have understood our objectives. The task for us as developing states and small island developing states is not the same as it is for others. The Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reminded us that our region is one of the most vulnerable to disasters. In fact, as we are gathered here in discussions on how to build resilient economies, we are faced with the present and crippling impact of the pandemic. A pandemic that has disproportionately affected our peoples. The United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, in their 2021 report, highlighted our reality. A reality that despite Latin America and the Caribbean having just 8.4% of the world's population, we account for 30% of the coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19 deaths, and 20% of the confirmed cases in the world. Further, the report noted that economic contraction caused by the pandemic in our region was the worst in 120 years. To further complicate things, our region has accounted for 53% of global economic losses associated with climate-related disasters over the last 2 decades. Over just a few months, our region has been faced with earthquake, which has had devastating effects on our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Volcanic eruption, which has created complex emergency response challenges for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and surrounding islands, and persistent floods, which have had severe impact on the productive sector in Guyana, Suriname, and other parts of South Central America and the Caribbean. Suffice to say, our region bears the brunt of disasters in the context of a changing risk landscape and the increasing reality of compounded risk. It is against this background that I, on behalf of the government of Guyana, take this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to disaster risk reduction and the Sendai targets as a pathway for sustainable development. We are well aware that our trajectory as the fastest growing economy in the region does not absolve us from disaster risk. And that risk-informed investments are the only way to sustain our growth and development. To this end, our government will continue to increase investments in DRR with specific priority for resilient infrastructure. As we speak, Guyana has ongoing major investments to strengthen sea defense infrastructure in vulnerable coastal communities. There is also extensive enhancement of road networks to support sustainable development with a view of enhanced evacuation planning. Rehabilitation of drainage and irrigation systems to reduce flood risk is also ongoing. Moreover, through strategic partnerships, we have made significant achievements in the establishment of smart hospitals across our country and are in the process of officially commissioning a new disaster risk management center in one of our most vulnerable administrative regions in the new week.
You've been listening there to the Honorable Brigadier, retired Mr. Mark Phillips, MP, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, making his contribution to the closing ceremony of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks for staying with us on this special edition of Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We've been covering the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, RP21, here on Power 106 FM since Monday. Today is the final day. The closing ceremony is underway, and we've been listening to the Honorable Brigadier, retired Mr. Mark Phillips, MSS, MP, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, delivering his message at the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean closing ceremony. Let's rejoin the Honorable Brigadier Mark Phillips.
Development. We must leverage these collective strengths in accordance with Target F of the Sendai Framework to enhance international cooperation through adequate and sustainable support to complement national action. Therefore, forums such as this, that in our context are appropriately timed and placed with objectives that are our own, must be prioritized. We must also elevate DRR as national policy priority and mainstream DRM into all aspects of our respective countries' development efforts in order to achieve the global and regional targets set in the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015 to 2030. In coherence and alignment with the climate and sustainable development agendas. It is incumbent on us to act and to act now. My fellow leaders, our assignment now is to get ahead of the curve, ahead of the next pandemic, ahead of the next earthquake, and indeed, ahead of the persistent and costly floods that are a common feature in our regions. This is our assignment. This is the charge that I leave with you, and the charge that I give to myself and the people of Guyana. In closing, I must congratulate the chair of the platform, Government of Jamaica, for the adoption of the Ministerial Declaration and the adjusted Regional Action Plan for the implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risks Reduction. Your leadership has given us a much needed jumpstart to recalibrate our focus and priorities in light of the lessons learned over the past 3 years. I thank you all for attending this regional platform for disaster risk reduction in the Americas.
The Honorable Brigadier Retired Mr. Mark Phillips, MSS MP, Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, delivering the chair summary and declaration on the occasion of the closing ceremony of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. There's an item on the program now. Let's see what that is about.
Member states, and it is posted on the conference website for your perusal beyond today. At this time, we have a cultural item for your entertainment. From Jamaica, one of our favorite popular artists, Wayne Marshall.
Good afternoon, RP21. This is Wayne Marshall, and we're bringing the curtains down on a successful disaster forum. It has been a great 4 days, and in Jamaica we have a saying, who God bless, no man curse. We don't leave Father God our prayer out of nothing at all.
Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Lord, I pray, I honor your name, deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. I will redeem my saving grace. I know I'm not worthy to see your face. I tried hard, but I made mistakes. You're still by my side every step that I take. Through every heartache, I you get the praise. I you on the right, I wish you always. Every time you gaze, I play hard days. You still show mercy and keep us safe. Lord, I pray, I honor your name, deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. All powerful, omnipotent, shine down your glory, your magnificence. When you do the defense, it make all the difference. Stepping on my life and take precedence. Be the captain, the pilot, the teacher. I be the king, I be the boss and the leader. Even guide me, shepherd and the keeper. Beginning and the end, you are the alpha omega. Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. Even when the thought and scheme and try to stop me, and even when they try their best to take my glory, I leave it in the hands, my Lord. Yeah, yeah. Well, I said, I leave it in the hands, my Lord. Yeah, yeah. Lord, I pray, I honor your name, deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. I say, Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver, yeah, whenever I fall, believe me on. Your rain, your rain. God has forgiven us of our sins. Likewise, we must forgive those who have hurt us. Come on, people. God is love, and love covers a multitude of sin. Let love flow. Let it go. And let God arise in your hearts. Glory be to God.
Lord, I pray, I honor your name, deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. Thank you.
Wayne Marshall providing some Jamaican ministry music, gospel song made very popular and still quite popular. And that's just ahead of the presentation by the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. Or will we be getting another item from Wayne Marshall? If you're just tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. It's a special edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, as we continue to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. We've been carrying since the start of the week, the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, known as RP21 for short, RP21. The Honorable Desmond McKenzie, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, is preparing to speak now. Any moment now, we'll hear from Minister McKenzie.
Honorable Prime Minister of the Corporate Republic of Guyana, State Minister in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, the Honorable Omar Davis, Mami Mitsituri, Head of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, Mr. Rael Salazar of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reductions in the America and the Caribbean, Ms. Liz Riley, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, Mistress Marsha Henry Martin, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Richard Thompson, Acting Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, mayors of the respective municipalities and CEOs and disaster coordinators, my distinguished colleague, ministers and head of delegation who are joining us by virtue of technology, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I simply want to start by saying that this 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean has been a great success. We have worked hard over the last 4 days to move the agenda of the Sendai framework forward. Even more importantly, we did this against the background of the initial setback that COVID-19 dealt us last year. We have devoted tremendous energy in ensuring that the staging of this critical event was undertaken. Indeed, in doing so, we have demonstrated our own resilience and determination to deliver on our commitments to safeguard our populations against disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, we share common reality that our region, especially small island developing states, within it will continue to be hit hard by climate change and other unique natural disasters. We will, however, continue to face these challenges, and therefore we are prepared to put our creative effort and our determination to overcome. For example, the rate of global warming is not contained, if it is not contained within 2 degrees Celsius, the projected economic fallout in the Americas and the Caribbean is estimated to reach over 100 billion US by 2050. However, we should never allow this to challenge us. We here in the region, and especially in Jamaica, can determine the quality of our future. And this is why we must continue to strengthen our risk governance, risk reduction, preparedness response, and recovery actions if we are to meet the priorities and the targets of our regional action plan and the Sendai framework. It is in this context that staging the very first Regional Youth Forum on Disaster Risk Management, which was held after a recommendation from Jamaica, it is so very important that the young people, we recognize that they are the present and as well as the future, and their voices are powerful and must be heard. Currently, there are 106 million young people between 15 and 24 living in the Americas and the Caribbean. And they account for 20% of the total population and comprise the largest proportion of young people in the history of this region. I'm therefore pleased to announce that this Regional Youth Forum developed a youth declaration which was presented at the Ministerial Roundtable and has been adopted by this regional platform. I'm also pleased that this regional platform has adopted a resolution moved by Jamaica to integrate a regional youth forum in all future platforms of the region, and also to propose that a global youth forum be incorporated in the global platform for disaster risk reduction in 2022 and all global platforms hereafter. And I am hoping that when the next global platform meets in Indonesia next year, that the Youth Forum will take its rightful place on the global stage, a Jamaican suggestion which has become a living reality. Emerging out of further deliberations as well as the review of the Regional Action Plan, the Ministerial High-Level Authority The session also adopted a revised regional action plan for the ministerial declaration. Ladies and gentlemen, our regional assessment report of 2021 highlight disaster risk are the driver or the foundation of all our efforts to reduce disaster risk. The failure to tackle root causes increases risk and human and economic loss of disaster. The disaster data and risk information must now be integrated in government policies right across the sector towards tackling the nature that we face, the risk that we continue to face as a region that falls within one of the most vulnerable areas. We need to align ourselves, the management and leadership, to effectively build disaster resilience for the future. Colleagues, tomorrow, Friday the 5th of November, is recognized as World Tsunami Day. This forum of disaster, or this form of disaster, has claimed over some 250,000 lives between 1998 and 2017. And this platform stands in solidarity and offers condolences to families around the world who have lost loved ones due to tsunami. Jamaica has actively and practically concentrated itself within the prevention of major loss of life due to tsunami. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management have developed a national tsunami response plan and standing order procedure, which will await the approval of the National Disaster Risk Management Council. This vital aspect of our disaster risk reduction program was made possible by a wide range of partners that have assisted us in making this program a reality. And I want to thank each and every one of those organizations, including the government of the Republic of Chile and the government of the Republic of Costa Rica, UNESCO, and other such agencies. I'm also pleased to announce that the Old Harbour Bay community, which is located on the southern coast of Jamaica and is one of our largest fishing villages, is at the final stage of receiving its tsunami-ready community recognition under UNESCO Tsunami Ready Program. They will become the first Jamaican tsunami-ready community in short order. So Old Harbour, you are on the map, and this is a first coming out of this regional platform. This 7th regional platform has been an historic and rewarding experience. On behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, led by the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, I want to thank members of the various countries, the region, who invested and placed their confidence in the government of Jamaica. This is the first time that this conference, and I want to repeat it because it sounds nice, it is the first time that a conference of this magnitude is being held outside of the Americas, in a small island state, and Jamaica is the first such country to host this conference. This is a major achievement for the government and people of Jamaica. I want to thank my Caribbean brothers and sisters whose participation was at the highest level possible. Their contribution in the various debates. And I want to assure the region that many of the ideas that came out of the ministerial roundtable and the other high-level discussions that we have had was put forward by our sisters in CARICOM. I must give special thanks to the team from the United Nations, Office of Disaster Risk Reduction, and SEDIMA. And I want to again thank Ruel, Noel, and Saskia, who I am officially declaring as honorary Jamaicans, who came, spent many hours, many days. We have been going down this road for almost 3 years in planning this event. And I'm proud that not my words, but the words of the UNDR, that this is the most successful regional platform that has been staged anywhere in the world, and it is a first for Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, as we bring the curtains down on a great event, I want to thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade here in Jamaica, the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Health. I want to thank the staff of the Ministry of Local Government, ADPEM, the SDC, the municipal corporations for their participation in this regional platform. Jamaica, you have made me proud. You have made your country proud. Thank you for your participation, your engagement, and the rich dialogue over these 4 days have been sensational. Before I declare this 7th regional conference on the disaster risk reduction, we're looking forward for next year. And I am looking forward for another sister Caribbean island to follow in Jamaica's footsteps. I want to close this conference officially, but I'd like you to stand, and I want us to close this conference in the words of the late Honorable Robert Bob Nestor Marley. And right across the globe, wherever you are, let us wave.
Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. One love. Hear the children crying. One heart. Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Oh, 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 oh. Let them all pass all this dirty river.
It's one love.
There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind just to save his soul? Believe me. One love. What about a one love? What about let's get together and feel alright? As it was in the beginning. One love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Alright. Thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege and honor to officially declare the 7th Regional Platform on Disaster Risk Reduction of the Americas and the Caribbean, I officially declare this conference closed.
And Minister Mackenzie, being the music aficionado he is, had to close in such a manner as he did. You were listening there to the Honorable Desmond Mackenzie, CDMP, JP, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, delivering the closing message of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. And if you think this has nothing to do with you, just take a look at the Gleaner a year ago, and you would see the photo of the day. Trevor Green, resident of New Haven, Western St. Andrew, explaining how his home was transformed into a pond by flood rains that lashed the island of Jamaica for weeks last year. Green, who lives on Duhenny Terrace, said floodwaters had come as high as his windows or his windowsill in the past. The flood toll on roads and agriculture was set at almost 5 billion Jamaican dollars. That was just last year this time.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Ready, set, save big on all your brand name items in the Home and Things Best Brand Sale event. Get the lowest prices on tiles, bathroom fixtures and faucets, laminate flooring, lighting, windows and doors, plus more, even on new arrivals. Shop top brands like American Standard, Moen, Corona, Hunter, and Angel Grace. Visit our showrooms at Old Rope Road and Constant Spring Road. The best brand sale event now on at Home and Things. Shop now for the best brands, big value, and even bigger savings.
The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with the added danger of variants has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others. And on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight. And with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. Cause stock's getting traded. Just said, don't you worry.
This Saturday, Fame Frequency turns up the fitting with the ultimate workout party. It's Fame Frequency Sweat. Sweat and sweat to the music. Mixed by King Dash, DJ Denver, and DJ Roderick. Live from 9 p.m. to midnight on Fame 95 Hits, 92 FM, and RETV. Online as One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. Get ready to party with me. Your energizer buddy, Jenny, in our VIP Zoom Watch Yourself area. Fame Frequency Sweat Saturday, November 6th, powered by Serena Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. Grace Tropical Rhythm, the taste that makes you move. And by Courts, bringing value home.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Thanks for staying with us on this special edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We started out this afternoon featuring a very significant regional conference. In fact, Power 106 FM's coverage started on Monday when we carried the opening ceremony from 10 to 11 in the morning of the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean, otherwise known as RP21, under the theme Building Resilient Economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. The forum ended a short while ago with the closing ceremony, wrapping up the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean. And we would like to thank our business development executive, Lorna Lewis, for coordinating sponsorship on that featured segment of the program. And also thanks to the sponsors led by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and their partners. We now continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but also your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. You can call us via WhatsApp, and you can dial that same number direct, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN and you'll not only be able to hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, there's always YouTube. All you need is a smartphone or a not-so-smartphone, a tablet computer, a laptop, any one of those devices, a PC, otherwise known as a desktop computer, and you need internet connection. Once you have internet connection, the next thing is to open a browser like Bing, Safari, Google Chrome, any one of those, and start typing the word YouTube. And the YouTube website will come up. If you're doing that now, you should see this video trending. If not, in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story. What's on your mind this afternoon? Looking forward to hearing from you. We've given you the details. Hello to Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Good afternoon. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas. Charlton Chance, president of the Florida chapter. Oops, I think, did they have a new president? I'm trying to remember. There was something about that position last time we sent a shout out to Charlton Chance. You could perhaps remind us, Charlton Chance, of the Dental Technical Past Students Association Florida chapter. Leotine Bryan, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Hello to Audrey Smith in Southampton in England. welcome. Norman Hines in St. Thomas. B. Jew in New York. Good afternoon, B. Jew. Good afternoon to Mr. B. Good afternoon to Jorvilia. And we hope to see you in December in New York, all things being well. B. Jew, stand by for that. Stand by for that. Rayon Daly says, Sophia Nemard is greeting us from Newell in St. Elizabeth. Mikey Jarrett says, good afternoon, blessings, Dervan Malcolm. Blessed love from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome, Mikey Jarrett, and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Brooklyn, New York. Neriga Smart Morgan 7 says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm and listeners. Blessings to you all. You go, Mr. Wayne Marshall. I love this song so much. Enough love from Neriga Morgan to you all. I'm enjoying the program as usual. Thank you, Neriga Smart Morgan 7. Paul in Philadelphia, good afternoon to you. Thanks for tuning in as usual. Chuck Ray says, hi, Dervan. Would you please send condolences to Senior's family who lost a loved one yesterday? This young man was an electrician who was electrocuted. His name is Fitzroy Senior, a very ambitious young man from Clinton. R.I.P. My brother, says this message. Someone is calling us on the text line, which is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Would you like to be on the radio? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Prophet in St. Thomas. My name is Julian. It is a pleasure to listen to your program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for the call. All the best.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Teacher, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Giving thanks for life. And you?
I'm doing the same, my brother.
Good.
Was just in my little backyard, weeding up and listening to the forum, listening to the closeout of the forum.
Yes.
And I noticed that there was a lot of talking about success and all of that. I want to say that it might feel good for those who came up with the idea and implemented it, and to see that it went through, and for that, I can agree with them claiming success and what it means for us as a small island state to put something like that together and see it come through. But I think that we should hold off a little bit on pronouncing success and the same, and an event that is just 4 or 5 days old. I think we need to take time, go away from applauding suggestions and opinions and things to do, and do the real celebration at the back end. When you come back next year and you tell me that if the 10 or 15 points that we put forward that we wanted to work on, we have completed 6 or 7, and we are at the juncture of near completion of the others. And then we can beat the decks and cheer loudly. You know, I think that is when the celebration should come. What do you say about that?
Yeah, well, everything is relative. Surely, it's very well known that we have an implementation deficit in this country, and we also have a maintenance deficit in this country, and so there are areas of weaknesses in terms of carrying out announced plans and decisions. What we have to ensure is that we build into these programs, initiatives, activities, plans, a system of checks and balances and accountability and a commitment to come back to the people, whether it be a week later, depending on what it is, 2 weeks later, a month, 6 months, a year, so that people can say, so they have reached somewhere with this initiative. So now we need to do some other work in order to take it to another level. Well, I'm going to join in because clearly they're serious about this initiative now that I'm seeing what it is about. So that part is just as important as the presentation of the ideas and the plans. No question about that.
And Dervan, you sum up beautifully why somebody might be listening to me and saying, how could we put on such a wonderful forum and this guy comes with so much skepticism? It is precisely what you have said in terms of our track record as it relates to implementing caused me to sound so skeptic.
One moment, please.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
This Saturday, Fame Frequency turns up the 13 with the ultimate workout party. It's Fame Frequency Sweat. Fete and sweat to the music. Mixed by King Dash, DJ Denver, and DJ Roderick. Live from 9 p.m. to midnight on Fame 95 Hits, 92 FM, and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. Get ready to party with me. You're Energizer, buddy. Jenny, in our VIP Zoom Watch Yourself area. Fame Frequency Sweat Saturday, November 6th. Powered by Smyrna Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. Grace Tropical Rhythm, the taste that makes you move. And by Courts, bringing value home.
Thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding. So skepticism is a good thing. Nothing wrong with being skeptical. Nothing wrong with asking questions. Nothing wrong with insisting on accountability. Those are all worthy features of any vibrant democracy anywhere in the world.
All right, Dervan, let us see if we can drill down a little bit. There was a lot of facts and figures that was given out in this forum. But I want to understand now, how do we move from those facts and those figures? Take for example, the minister, Desmond McKenzie, mentioned that this set of young people in the Americas or in our region is the largest. How do we drill down now into getting this what would be the word? You wouldn't say cohort. This set of young people to be integrally involved, as he wants to say that they are in the present and the future. How do we get them involved in the whole business of disaster mitigation? What were some of the points that came out to you that tells me that they are serious about getting the young people involved?
Well, they have to obviously strike while the iron is hot. If you find that young people have demonstrated a level of interest in this area of development, then you're going to feed that interest and do all you can to harness and build on that base of support and interest, and just not letting it go. Don't park it now because the event is finished, and then sometime next year you pick it up again. You can't allow the momentum to wane.
But did you get from the conference, Dervan, tangible things that they would be implementing to ensure that the young people would be a part?
Well, it would be unfair for me to draw any conclusion on that front. I'd have to go back to all the recordings of all the sessions from Monday, the 1st of November, up to this afternoon's closing ceremony.
But nothing stick out for you?
No, other than Caribbean people and people of the Americas recognizing what we're faced with, even before the COVID-19 pandemic, the frequency or the increased number of storm systems in the region and the implications for how we build, how we live, how we work, how we earn, what kind of economy we have, how the most vulnerable in our society are affected by these acts of nature, and even some that are man-made. It is quite a conundrum, but there must always be a sense of hope by virtue of the choices we make and the decisions we make in relation to these issues that we're grappling with. People must always feel that sense of hope, and obviously not false hope, because then if they feel that sense of hope, then they're likely to lend their support and their voices and perhaps even their votes to that kind of a movement. However, if we let them down, if we let down the people, then they become even more cynical and more skeptical and more withdrawn, and nobody benefits from that kind of a scenario. So people must be able to invest trust and confidence in the decisions, deliberations, announcements, plans, projections, programs, initiatives. Without that, then people will stay away from those meetings, conferences, programs, initiatives, because of the perception of them not being viable, or not people not following through, etc. It's not as straightforward as it seems, but it does help if those who are leading the process are able to make decisions, tangible, practical decisions that will demonstrate that they really mean business.
Right, and I Dervan, I have little time. I don't want to sound rude for the broad what's the word, platitude. When these ministers and persons who claim to be in the know regurgitate and tell us all about what everybody knows about the region, that we are the most what's the word they use?
Vulnerable,
and they keep saying that over and over without showing me tangible things. For example, you at the close of the event, you said to us, if you believe that it has nothing to do with you, look at the Gleaner, and you called out a particular incident. I want them to give me tangible things as to what they'll do so that this man won't be faced with a similar occurrence.
Well, there's another side to this story, which is, and we've been saying it for years on this program. What has happened for a very long time in this country is that the tail has been wagging the dog.
Right.
So we have not been able as a country to keep pace with the ambitions of our people, the ambitions and pursuits of our people. Our people are in a hurry. Our people don't have the time to sit and wait on years of deliberations for decisions to be made in terms of land for housing versus land for agriculture versus land for commercial activities. And so, and I'm not saying that it is right, but then people just go ahead and start something. And before you know it, we have people living in an area, for example, which that area that leads all the way out to ferry, there's a reason they call it ferry, because there was in fact a ferry that would take people on that boat across that area, because it was always a swampy area.
Right.
Right. And so people, whether knowingly or unknowingly, go and settle in that area now. The water table is naturally high, and you're going to have issues every time we have significant, even not so significant bouts of rainfall. So there are, I like to give the example of this place in Canada. The year I went to Canada, I've been there a few times, obviously, but this particular year went there and saw this vast area, just a vast area of shrubs and whatever, just nature running wild. And went back to Canada the year after that, and this area was now transformed. It had proper infrastructure, proper roads. It had schools. It had shopping areas, and then the people moved in, which is what is supposed to happen. That's how it's supposed to happen. In Jamaica, we do the opposite. The people, in just anxious to make something of themselves and their lives, and in the absence of a system that affords them the opportunity to own their piece of the rock in an efficient way and without too much red tape. While they wait, they build and build. And then at some point, it's not so bad for those who think of the votes in terms of the building of more people coming to the area. That means more votes. But at some point, somebody says, but hold on, people shouldn't be living in this area. This is after people would have been living there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's what I mean when I say the tail has been wagging the dog for a very long time. So we have to flip that. We have to flip that. We have to, first of all, earmark an area to say this is residential land. Another, again, I like to tell the story of being on the train for about 14 hours in China, moving from Nanning to Beijing. And it was just so fascinating. As we went right across China, we were seeing agricultural lands, commercial property, residential lots. So not one piece of wasteland did we see in that 14-hour, I think it was 14 hours, journey on the train. Not one piece of wasteland. Every plot of land served a purpose. Agriculture, commercial, residential, industrial, etc., etc. So that's where we need to get to. That's one of the ways to minimize what happened to this man, Trevor Green, and his fellow citizens in that area of New Haven. New Haven, always makes the news whenever it rains in any significant proportions, because perhaps people should not have been living there in the first place.
You hit the nail on the head there, Van. But the question begs is how much of this kind of discourse we will have and hear before we get to the point where you have just discussed. Who will be the czar? Which set of people? Who will hold the politicians and those who are supposed to make it happen foot to the fire? How will this happen, Dervan?
Well, through calls like yours, don't take it for granted, don't take it lightly, that you are able to call a talk show to express your concern, your issues, your uneasiness with certain decisions or lack thereof of the leadership of the country, etc. And if more people do that, then you end up with what is called a groundswell. And there is strength in numbers. And at some point, people must listen. And people will be, or they will be forced to listen. And sometimes a little too little too late by the time they come around to their senses to say, oh no, we should have done this, we could have done that, or we really meant to start that, etc. Yeah.
There was a time, Dervan, when there was a thriving civil society movement. You could hear voices like Carl Narcis and those people, very regular, holding the government.
They're still with us. Last night I heard Jeanette Calder from the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP. I also heard Professor Trevor Monroe of the, was it last night or night before? Time flies. I don't remember. But the point is they're still around. And I've heard Carol Narcis in recent times as well, participating in discussions in relation to decisions or impropriety or corruption and related matters. They're still around.
But I get the feeling, Dervan, that
one moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Treat yourself to famous Jamaican jerk dishes at Sweetwood Jerk Joint. Succulent pork, chicken, and lamb, served with mouth-watering side dishes. Helsher style seafood. Fridays and Saturdays. Call 876-906-4854 or visit 78 Knatsford Boulevard, New Kingston, in a secured environment across from Emancipation Park. All COVID-19 protocols observed. Sweetwood Jerk Joint, the home of Jamaican jerk.
Living in the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks for holding.
Yeah, Dervan, I need to let you go now, but I have two more what I want to pick with you before I run. I want you to guide me with this one. Would it be too strong of an argument to say academia is letting us down? I'm going to give you a specific case. When persons go to university for 4 years, acquire a degree and a profession, I'm talking specifically to our nurses, who I heard their leader saying her nurses are at the point in their life where reproductive health is paramount, and they want the Ministry of Health to give them more education. How you view that, Dervan? You're telling me that after 4 years of university and you're now employed, you can't go in your pocket and go to a gynecologist and find out from a gynecologist what are the debilitating effects of this vaccine on my reproductive health. How you view it, Dervan?
I don't know about debilitating effect on the vaccine on anybody's reproductive health. I don't know of any compelling evidence on that score. Vaccines do carry with them what are called side effects, but that's not unique to vaccines. All the people who have been taking tablets for headache, toothache, and all other things for centuries. These have always come with side effects. You're not going to get away with that because everybody's immune system is different. And when foreign matter enters our system, our immune system, depending on the state of our immune system, we could very well have a successful encounter or interaction inside of us, this foreign matter and our immune system, or it could be quite contentious, in a manner of speaking, based on the nature of my immune system. So I don't think the broad brush works, or unless there is palpable evidence that says this thing. Because as we always say on this program, one thing following another is not necessarily an indication that one caused the other. And we have to be very careful when we're dealing with scientific data and medical matter. We have to be very careful that we're not just making statements from the seat of our pants, but that we are in fact in possession of the unvarnished truth in relation to what happened or didn't happen in a particular case, because every case is different.
So I heard you on that there, but the question I wanted to respond to from it is, how do you view that position that the nurse want ministry to bring somebody to educate them after you are an educated nurse working in the health sector?
Well, there's a thing called continuing education, which all nurses are subjected to, and doctors as well, and you get certain credits, etc., for engaging in developmental programs of study, etc. That's a natural part of the life of any nurse or doctor or other professionals. So that's ongoing. Learning never stops until we die.
Right.
Yeah. So that sounds that sounds like I don't know. Somebody maybe misspoke. Maybe somebody misspoke.
I think it's a cop out. But the last thing, Dervan, I'd ask you to check on JPS as it relates to the deposit. How?
Yes, I got a voice note. I'd listened to it before. I didn't get around to forward it to you. I got a voice note from Audrey Williams of the Jamaica Public Service Company. Can you text us your number? Can you send us your number on our text line so we can forward this voice note of Audrey Williams of JPS explaining how that situation works with respect to at what point does your first deposit become null and void, which was the question you asked on I think it was the 26th of October.
I did text you, but
did you yes, give us a hint as to what it was about?
Yes, I did say that this is the person who would ask you. But give me back your text number.
876-365 3346.
Okay, thanks.
Please, sorry about that. If you do it now, it will come at the top of the pile. So do it right now, please. Thanks. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Nicola in Mandeville, Manchester, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Also, Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. To you too, Faye Weller, welcome. Donovan Campbell, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Love Brown says, welcome, bro. Good luck to you. To you too, Love Brown. Thank you very much for joining us on Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. And we thank our guest waiting in the wings, if he's still available after that long session. We're standing by to connect with Jamaican Ephraim Martin, popularly known for organizing the the IRAMA Awards, but in more recent times, he has. Is this the information? Hold on, I think it just came in because we want to make sure this listener gets. Oh, I'm seeing it now. Yes. I did see this message as well, and I'm seeing the multiple missed calls. Sorry about that. So what we're now going to do is to send you the voice note from Audrey Williams of the Jamaica Public Service Company, responding to the question that you asked us here on both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. So we're sending that voice note to you even as we speak, and you should have it now. After you have listened to that voice note, please feel free to call us back and tell us if you're satisfied with the response, and we'll do another follow-up. Thank you very much. Let's see some more messages quickly. Owen in Mandeville has shared a video which we need to check off air before playing it on air, or to determine whether we can play it on air. Elvis, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Missionary Doris. Thank you for tuning in as well. James has shared a story with us from, the Guardian newspaper. And let's come up to Franklin McDonald. Says, hi, Dervan. This is not a note for broadcast. Well, I won't go any further than Franklin McDonald. I'll just stop there. I'll read it in my leisure time. Lloyd says, hello, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Good afternoon to Jamaica. Good day to Uncle Radcliffe Lewis. Hello, Daddy Bigger Roy, and to Staley Paul and Bobo, Highgate St. Mary, hold tight from Lloyd. Mr. Dervan, I'm just calling to your attention that I'm still on my way to Alabama from yesterday. I did stop for my 10-hour clock break and still won't get there until 9:30 tonight. Sending love all the way still, Mr. D. Well, you continue to be safe on those sometimes treacherous roadways of the United States of America, considering the sudden change in climatic conditions at any given time, but especially at this time. Someone has sent us a notification here, which we always need to verify, because people have a way of sending. Well, let's not even complete that. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I cannot understand the sense in giving taxpayers land to strangers if they live there for 12 years, but the government lands, you have to be on it for 60 years. This is an unjust move on the part of the government. We're not satisfied with these colonial policies that our parliament is engaged in, sir. Cuban in Georgia, put your concerns in writing. Yes, and direct your concerns to the, I think your concerns would be properly directed to the Ministry of Housing, Urban Renewal, and Climate Change. Owen says, good day, sir. I want to use this medium to request more ATMs in Stony Hill. Only one in the square, and oftentimes it's not working. Like now, the one can't work. It serves many, many places. Thank you. Over to the financial institutions. They happily compete for land space along Constant Spring Road, and they have both set up magnificent structures on Constant Spring Road. They might need to be reminded that Constant Spring Road then takes you up into Stony Hill, where they only have one ATM. And that is true. I know where it is. We did a broadcast from that location some time ago. Surely, in this day and age, we can do better than that. not just in Stony Hill, but there are other places in the country. We know that you have to do your security analysis of the area, your SWOT analysis and all of that, and to be quite judicious in how you set up these automated teller machines, or otherwise known as automated banking machines, otherwise known as, they have a few names for them, IABMs as well, like intelligent machines, etc. We're coming up to the break. We're happy to have finally connected with our guest. We thank him for his patience and understanding, and we'll bring him in after this break. And we're talking about Ephraim Martin, who has been blazing a trail of excellence and leadership in terms of his work, along with especially in relation to Du Sable and the renaming of Jean-Baptiste Point to Du Sable Lakeshore Drive and related matters. You'll find out more in just a moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local development and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Que hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点01分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And it's time for us to go to the man himself, Mr. Ephraim Martin, who is always up to something good. Good afternoon to you, sir. It's been a little while since we last spoke. How's it going?
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir, and to all your listeners at 106, our 106. Greetings to each and every one. Everything is going wonderful. Everything is great. We just won't complain.
Did you say, you just won't complain? For a moment there, I thought you said with just one complaint. Never mind. Yes. All right. So I've been seeing the pictures and the videos, etc. And I know that a lot has been happening ever since you made that significant breakthrough. We don't want to take anything for granted. We don't want to assume that those listening to us right now heard the story, heard what you were able to do, the kind of leadership you were able to demonstrate in having significant change and recognition to some founding fathers, in a manner of speaking. So could you take us back to that point and then bring us forward to a couple of upcoming and happening events that you've been involved in? Sorry, go ahead.
Certainly. First, let me say, in the 1960s, Martin Luther King said, Chicago is the most racist city in the country.
Sorry, Mr. Martin, we really want to hear you. It sounds as if we're on speaker on your end. If you could sharpen that audio a little more for us, because we really want our listeners and viewers all over the world to hear every single word.
I'm off speaker.
All right, that's much better. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yes. I was saying Martin Luther King once said in the 60s that Chicago is the most racist city in America. But I can say we are seeing a little change now since the last couple of months. Chicago was founded by a man from the Caribbean, the country of Haiti, as some people would say. But this man was never given his respect by virtue of the color of his skin, a black man. It was not allowed for him to be given that kind of respect with something like a street, a city holiday, or a monument. So he was denied for all these years. And over the last 200 and odd years, people have been fighting for better recognition for the founding father. And they all failed along the way. It went on deaf ears and nothing being done. In my participation in this kind of movement started in 1973 actively after we were through fighting for Nelson Mandela and for an end to apartheid. So we got involved with this a little, but slowly nothing has been really done about correcting the wrongs and to end systemic racism in Chicago and America. However, following data from George Floyd, we started a movement. We call it under our Martins International umbrella. We started the Black Heroes Matter Coalition. We're able to, along with my wife, Justice Shelvin Hall of the Illinois Appellate Court, and we were able to muster some 80 organizations to join us to correct the wrongs we talked about for Jean-Baptiste de Sable. So last year, July, we kicked off a major march. We closed down a magnificent mile in Chicago known as Michigan Avenue. And we marched all the way to Grand Park where I addressed some 5,000 people of all nationalities. And then our campaign kicked off fully there. And for one full year, we have been in the city council calling on all the elder persons to vote yes and to change the most iconic street in Chicago, and may I say in America, one of the most iconic and well-known street, Lakeshore Drive, in honor of Chicago's founding father. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until last July after the mayor overnight one on the 23rd of June called on me to for a compromise and for us to rename the street Jean-Baptiste de Sable Lakeshore Drive. We're asking for it to be straight Jean-Baptiste Drive. However, with the notice, we asked for 24 hours for the decision to be made in order for us to accept that compromise. And on Friday, the 25th of June, it was accepted and the street was renamed. But it wasn't until last week, the 21st of this October, that it was officially done. Keep in mind, the mayor was opposing us for a very long time. We sat together, we compromised, we went over lots of different arguments about Jean-Baptiste de Sable. She offered to come up with $40 million to for us to change our mind and to do something else, which we said no to. And after winning that compromise, it was good and nice to see the mayor join us and last 2 weeks, the 21st, to officially unveil Jean-Baptiste de Sable Lakeshore Drive signs to change the entire stretch of Lakeshore Drive, 17 miles, to rename it in honor of the founding father. This is an historic victory because until this day, some people still cannot believe that the change has come after over 200 years of trying and fighting. And it said some people in Chicago would say, "Hey, it's a Jamaica Drive." Just joking about it, because so many people tried and it just never happened. But we were able to make it happen by being able to a far more coalition of people from Africa, from the Caribbean and other corners of the world to come together to say no to systemic racism and for an end to the discrimination against the father of this great city, the Saba.
Yes.
So we are pleased to say now, when you come to Chicago and when you travel on the most iconic street in Chicago, Lakeshore Drive, you will see now that it's the Saba, Jean Baptiste Point, the Saba, Lakeshore Drive. And yes, Jamaica is written on it because we made it happen.
Yes.
And of course, Alderman Moore and King and all our 80 organizations came together to make it happen. So that's an historic move that still to this day people are still saying it's not true. But yes.
And asking you, how did you do that? So what has happened since the 21st of October? And I get the impression you have really started a movement that is not going to die anytime soon.
No, so what we did last year, we have been calling on people in different cities throughout the country to also show their support for the black man, the known black man that started the third largest city in this country, this Chicago. And we have called on people around the country to show their respect and honor for the Saba. And in New York, 2 days or 1 day before, we were able to install our unveil the DeSaba street in Chicago. They were able to have one in Brooklyn, New York. So that was a good move. And we are still calling on other states and other cities to show their respect for Jean-Baptiste Point DeSaba.
Yes. And is there a way in which people can follow the movement? Is there a website, a Facebook page, or some other social media platform?
Certainly. It is Jean-Baptiste Point DeSaba, or rather, it is the blackarrowsmatter.org for the website. Mm-hmm. But you can also access it through martinsinternational.com.
I see. And well, you obviously this will continue to be your work going forward. In addition to all that you still have to do in terms of
because of course it's a lot, but we can make it happen. Yes. We're also I may say we are just getting ready for our 40th anniversary of the Chicago Music Awards, which is coming up in February here. But also in Jamaica, we're looking forward to our 40th anniversary of IRAMA, the International Reggae and World Music Awards, which is going to be in May 1st here in Jamaica. At the same token, tomorrow I'll be leaving for Oklahoma, where I'll be speaking on the Oklahoma a disaster where over 100 people were slaughtered. Black people in the Black Wall Street 100 years ago. So I will be speaking on that, a combined speech with the Saba and Oklahoma, and of course a little about George Floyd. And at the end, I will also be receiving my doctorate in a business administration.
Congratulations! Goodness, it's all happening for you at this very ripe age or young age, however you look at it. This is fantastic. This is fantastic.
But I have to give credit to all the people who over the years have worked with us, and some of the entertainers from Jamaica who have came to Chicago over the years. And when we have these festivals that pay tribute and talked about the Saba and others have been there with their voices. People like, I must have to mention Muta Baruka, because when we first mentioned the Saba in 1993, he was one of 1995, he was one of the first reggae entertainers along with Freddie McGregor who came and supported the movement without fear.
Oh, I didn't realize it was from that far back.
Yeah, we have been asking. Yes, you see, what happened to Saba was, as a founder, was very few people knew who the Saba was, knew the founding father of Chicago. And when I went in 1993, I went into the Chicago Historical Society, and there was a bus there of a man by the name of the person who purchased the Saba property in the 1780 something. His bus was there as the father of Chicago. And that's the time, and that's the time when it's really, I just couldn't take that. And then I then called on the curator there at the time, and for them to correct it. It was not immediately corrected, but we were having the Festival of Life under the umbrella of bringing nations together, show music and culture. And what we did then, there was a land right there where the Saba started Chicago. And it was a place where festival would take place, most of the popular festival. So we decided to go there, and as we described it at the time as the Saba's land. And we had our Festival of Life there, in which we called and the city and everyone to do something for the Saba.
One moment, please, Mr. Martin. Ephraim Martin is our guest on both sides of the story.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515.
In the positive. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Sides of the story.
Que ahora es en español. Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. Tiensai, Tidian le, Si Dien, Shi Liao Fen. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now's a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Well, thanks to Jamaica's Ephraim Martin doing his homework, we have a situation now where a man who previously was not given the honor he deserved trust a Jamaican to make it happen. Ephraim Martin. The story is that if you're just tuning in the 1770s, while there were indigenous people scattered across Illinois on the land now known as Chicago, it was a man from the Caribbean country of Haiti, otherwise known as Haiti, Jean-Baptiste Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sable. That would be the French pronunciation, Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sable. He journeyed up the Mississippi River, worked his way to a conjunction of a river and Lake Michigan, to start a trading business and thus establish what is now America's third largest city. However, this man, Dusable, the founder of the city of Chicago, was never properly acknowledged or given his full respect of a street, a major monument, or a full city holiday. For more than 100 years, people have been pushing for full respect for this great black man with little or no success. And as we said, the man who made it happen, who brought light to that dark space where this gentleman should have been, he is now getting his rightful recognition. And so that's what this is all about. If you're just tuning in and you're wondering what's happening. So our own Ephraim Martin chairs the movement Black Heroes Matter, the Black Heroes Matter BHM Coalition, and got support as well from alderpersons. I believe that's the equivalent of who we would refer to as councillors in our municipal corporation. Mr.
Correct.
Martin, yes?
That is correct. And of course, like I mentioned, the mayor was so fierce and up against us in the fight. You see what happened? When I met with the mayor and December 20th last year, we had a meeting, and of course, she wasn't expecting more than 5 people with me, but I brought 60 odd in the Zoom. And she confessed at the time that she wasn't from Chicago. She, and she didn't know the history of Chicago. However, at the time she said, I'm with you. I'm going to be with you all the way. However, along the way, in February, she announced on CNN and all the other major networks that the Saab was her favorite black heroes of all black persons. Now, but a month later, after getting pressure from the other side, she started backing up and said, well, she wanted us to do something differently. She didn't want us to use the Saba, the extra drive to change it because it's too iconic, and that would be affect. She didn't use the word white people, but naturally that's what she was saying. The people on the north, they don't want it. So if we're going to go only south, and then it would be okay. And we rejected that because we're saying to go south is not correcting anything. You're not trying to end systemic racism. You're still saying that the black cannot go north. And we're saying they must go north. Everyone must learn to accept the Saba and the north, the south, and all around Chicago. So we didn't want to take that compromise. Well, that's the time when they said, okay, they want to give us a river walk and they want to spend, at first they started with 20 million, then they went up to 30 million and then 40 million on the board, and we still stood strong and said no. So when we got together last week, 2 weeks, I said to the mayor, as the media officer, most of the national media, why is it that you're claiming, because she took over last week, she claimed it as her victory, which was fine, because we know that that's what politicians do sometimes.
Yes.
So she said this was her victory that she won for Chicago and the rural, and we had no problem about that. However, what we said to her, we're asking you still to use that $40 million to build a major monument, a city park, which Earl Washington and the late Earl Washington Mayor Earl Washington ordered for the Saba in 1987, but nothing was done since his death. And we're saying now, we want you to use that funding to develop the park, a good park, not just a little one by the side, but a major park, a major monument, and a city holiday for the Saba.
Yes.
So we are waiting now to see what she's going to do. She said she will do everything for the Saba. So we are waiting to see how that's going to work out.
I see.
However, it was good to know that she joined us at the end and claim it. Yes. So that's what most of the media are talking about, that sudden switch.
Yes.
From not wanting it and now saying it's her idea to compromise and it's her deal.
What a thing.
Yeah. But it's all good that now we can say there is a street after 400 years and after over 2,000 streets in honor of white men, primarily, and none for the founding father. That was the same. And we were not going to let it go like that. And like the mayor said, we won because we're consistent. We won because we would never back off. We won because we were in the city council every meeting, and myself and others will take turns in speaking and to make sure that we're not going to leave that city hall until victory. And we got it.
Indeed, you did. I see someone trying to identify with you here. Ralph is asking if you are from Portland.
Close to, but no, I'm St. Thomas, Seaford, St. Thomas, South Seaford. But I'm close to Portland. But St. Thomas is where I'm from.
Close enough. Someone has also sent us a picture of a bust of Jean-Baptiste Pointe du Sable on a plinth. It looks like somewhere in Chicago.
Yes, it's on Michigan Avenue, and I'll tell you about that. In the early part of the millennium, in about 2006, 2007, when we're asking for a city holiday, the mayor then would only agree to a day of observance, quiet day of observance, and that would not. But they wouldn't give a monument or anything like that.
Oh.
So there's a brother, a car dealer from Haiti, Leslie, what's his name? And he said, I'm going to donate some funds just to build something small as a little acknowledgement of the founder.
Yes.
So it was about 2 feet, but he built it and it was installed on Michigan Avenue, right near the spot where DuSable started this great city, or started his trading post. So that's the only thing there now. That's the only little statue in Chicago for DuSable. While you can see statues all around the city for 40 and 50 feet, but nothing for the father of this great city. We can't accept it.
Not at all.
And that's the next move that we're saying. The mayor told me that she would like to take it over and get it done. I don't have to worry about it. So for now, we're going to give a limited time to them for them to get it done. And once they will get it done, then that will ease the stress off us so we can move on to other things that we're doing. But that's another thing that must be done, followed by the city holiday and the park in honor of DuSable.
Well, being a Jamaican, we know you're going to persist and do what needs to be done to ensure that DuSable's legacy continues to be to be preserved, and that if there are others to which attention needs to be drawn, we have no doubt that you will make sure that is done.
Yeah, and you see, the thing about it, some people say to me, but you're not from Haiti. Why are you fighting for this man? The bottom line is from the diaspora. He's from the African diaspora. He's black. He was black, and so long as he's a black man, he's an African.
Yeah.
And we have to fight for our people. We have to cut the wrongs for our people wherever they're from, and that's what we are about.
Excellent.
So that's what we did. We won, and it's good. And we'll continue our journey in whatever we have to do.
Well, as Bob Marley says, don't give up the fight. It's been a joy, but we're so proud of you and your work and your remarkable acumen in terms of leadership and forthrightness and a general sense of purpose and mission in delivering on this this commitment to make this widespread recognition of Du Sable a reality.
Yes, indeed. And again, I want to thank you and for all the people who over the years have just, when we first started, I remember I was with the Gleaner and Star and, of course, the Chicago Defender here. And there was a brother who came here in that first year and encouraged us and worked with us. His name is Desmond Allen. He was he's from the Jamaica Observer.
Yes, former president of the Press Association of Jamaica.
Press Association of Jamaica. And as a matter of fact, when he came in 1982, he was then the president of the Press Association, along with Ben Brody and some of those guys from the earlier days.
Yes.
But their encouragement in those days helped me to do some of the things that I'm doing now. Because the Press Association of Jamaica in those days was really an active organization, that would fight for things that's not right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I have to thank some of those people who have encouraged me in my earlier days and who have helped us along the way. I remember when we first started and Desmond Allen was here in Chicago with us, and then Rex Netherford came along and he encouraged us, to carry on this struggle and to keep it going.
It sounds like we need to give you just another minute or two because this is another story. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Ready, set, save big on all your brand name items in the Home and Things Best Brand Sale event. Get the lowest prices on tiles, bathroom fixtures and faucets, laminate flooring, lighting, windows and doors, plus more, even on new arrivals. Shop top brands like American Standard, Moen, Corona, Hunter, and Angel Grace. Visit our showrooms at Old Road Road and Constant Spring Road. The best brand sale event now on at Home and Things. Shop now for the best brands, big value, and even bigger savings.
Waiting on your receivables, waiting to purchase raw materials to fulfill your next order, waiting to get paid for goods already sold. 60 days, 90 days, invoices way past due. What if you could be insured for up to 85% of your domestic and foreign receivables, so that if you don't get paid on time, your biggest priority, your business, will not have to wait. Trade credit insurance. Insurance worth having. Credit without waiting. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihoods.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday, right here on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5 menos 28, que le retire en français, les 5 heures moins 28. Tien zai, tidien le wu dien cha arsher ba fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to get back to Ephraim Martin, Jamaican history maker in more ways than one, through his work on seeking the requisite recognition for this great Haitian who was responsible for the founding of Chicago, Jean-Baptiste Pointe du Sable. Right, so you were saying in those early days, you had these Jamaican influencers who gave you encouragement. They saw what you were doing. They they had an idea. You managed to get them to buy into the vision, and that kind of encouragement helped to push you after all these years. I mean, it has taken a while, but clearly you didn't lose faith or hope at all.
When we started, it wasn't about the Sabbath in those days. When we started, it was all about ending apartheid. It was about the freedom of Nelson Mandela and freedom and democracy in the world.
Oh.
Using the music as a vehicle of expression for the voiceless peoples of the world. And that actually started with Peter Tosh and Dennis Brown and a few other people who kind of encouraged me in those days to say, if you do this, we are with you and we will be there with you always, you know. So in 1983, when we started, 82 rather, that's what it was all about, ending apartheid, systemic, all these things that was going on in South Africa. And Jamaica was the leading country, one of 3 leading countries that was fighting to end apartheid in South Africa and for the freedom of Nelson Mandela. It was Jamaica, Nigeria, and Australia. They were in the forefront of fighting this kind of corruption and everything that was going on in South Africa. And we used the music, reggae music at the time, to be the voice out there to fight, a voice to fight against apartheid. And in those days, people I mentioned, Peter Tosh and Dennis Brown and Muta Baruka, Freddie McGregor, and others, they would travel with us from city to city, from Chicago to Atlanta, Florida, New Orleans, different places, hosting these awards, but under the banner of also calling at the same time for an end to apartheid. So when all of the Nelson Mandela was freed in the 90s and others, people were set free in different ways, we then started, that's a time when we really got into the Disaba end of the whole push for equal rights and justice and for Disaba to get his respect.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a whole ton of people for us to thank, and I would have to say, without them, their early encouragement, maybe I wouldn't have the nerves and courage to go through to for this victory.
Yes, indeed.
So, yes, so I want to thank each and every one who along the way help us to make it possible.
We join you in expressing gratitude for that the wave of encouragement you have received over the years, which obviously has been like the wind beneath your wings, and even now you're soaring. Well, we want to. Yes, go ahead.
And this brother here, Ben Brody, I mentioned Ben Brody lightly, but Ben Brody, he was another whip. You know, along with some of my family there in St. Thomas, because you asked me where St. Thomas, my sister Dorothy and Salomon and all my nieces and nephews there who really, you know, do what they could to encourage and keep me going to this day. You know, I want to thank them for sure.
Well, we thank you, and long may you keep going. And we are looking forward to the book. There has to be a book coming out of this, Ephraim Martin.
You know, it's just a time to sit. I have so many people been calling on me for the last 6 months. There are about 8 or 9 people from across the country who asking me to sit down and let's do it. Yes. You know, so I'm sure at some point, I can't say when, but
understood. Well, whenever that time comes around, we'll be happy. Whenever that book is ready, we'll be happy to provide this platform to get the word out.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And thank you for your time. You've spent quite a bit of time with us this afternoon on both sides of the story. We appreciate it.
Indeed. And I want to thank again all your listeners and you for all that you have been doing for the diaspora over the years.
Thank you.
We want to salute you on that and encourage you to keep up the great work.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All the best, Ephraim Martin. He's president and chairman of IRAMA, as International Reggae and World Music Awards, the Chicago Music Awards, IFAL, JSV Fest, and of course, Black Heroes Matter, BHM Coalition, all powered by Martin's International in Chicago. It's always a great feeling to celebrate the work of our Jamaican brothers and sisters across the globe. Wonderful work by Ephraim Martin. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM. Win Charmful says, follow the science, people say. The big question is, how much should we trust the scientist? After all, they're working for world leaders, and so they will cover up for world leaders. Hey, Win Charmful, since you have gone there, how much should we trust the people who put together this thing called internet, which you're on right now? Are you sure you trust them with your information that you signed up with, Win Charmful? Can you trust them? Or why are you trusting them now? Do you drive a car, Win Charmful? How can you be trusting the people who made the car, Win Charmful? Can you really trust them? Do you get the point I'm making, Win Charmful? I hope you get the point. Did you use toothpaste this morning, Win Charmful? Can you trust the people who made the toothpaste? Hello? You must get it by now, Win Charmful. Thank you very much for your message nonetheless. Betty Chung says, hello, Mr. Dervan. I'm enjoying your program. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Betty Chung. Dr. Renee Zazu Williamson, who is in the UK right now on his way to Africa, says, greetings, Dervan from UK. May I take the opportunity to say congrats to some of my mentees graduating from UWI today, Rodane Richardson, Shanae Warburton Law, Officer Clayton Bolton, and Tashay Bowes. Natalie Winter in Washington Gardens says, hi Dervan, God bless you. And God bless you. Something else. Something is missing. Love you very much. May the season bring you blessings and happiness, from Natalie in Jamaica. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. Rose McIntosh says, tell it like it is, sir. Well, these are just facts. I don't know. I'm not good. Let me not. I have no time to be paranoid. I'm sorry. Life is too short to be paranoid. Really don't have time for that. What is. I think it was, what's his name? The great, what's his name? He was the one who said it. But Alexander Pope, what is, or words to that effect. These days we say it is what it is. Yeah, but the paranoia, I really don't have time for it. We don't know how much time we have left on this earth, so we just have to do what we need to do to get on with this business of life, quite frankly. But the paranoia, and Lord Jesus, no, no, fine if that is your flavor, more power to you, but really don't have time for that. Life is too precious to waste on paranoia. Velta Wilson says, exactly, Dervan. We sometimes choose who to trust. Well, that's it. That's it. Thank you. And Delarno. Delarno says, hi, Mr. Dervan. I need your help in getting JPS to connect electricity to a home in Granville, Trelawney. Please, 1 month since we applied, no one come to connect, is perhaps what you want to say, Delarno. Delarno, we did respond to your message and suggested that you send us your contact information so that when we share your message with the team at the Jamaica Public Service Company, they'll be able to message you or WhatsApp you or call you. So if you obviously didn't get the message, Delarno, because I'm not seeing. Let's check nonetheless, but not seeing. Not seeing that. This one message. This is Ralph, who was inquiring as to whether Mr. Martin was from Portland. Ralph says, my grandmother used to tell me of her brother whose name is Ephraim Martin. Her name was Hannah Martin. Well, who knows? Anything is possible. Mr. Martin, if anything there strikes a chord with you, please feel free. We'd be happy to connect you with Ralph. Barry says, time to praise the living and not the dead. Follow YouTube, Universal Scientific Associates. All right. So that's Barry's world. Right. All the best, Barry. Andrew McPherson says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. I love the term you always use. Like my late mother always said, those old-time words are so relevant and important even in today's world. Andrew McPherson. Yeah, those terms and turns of phrases, priceless, priceless, Andrew. Thank you very much for your message. And Ricardo is wishing us a safe journey back home. Thank you, Ricardo. It's time for another break right here. In fact, it's a final break on today's edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct-to-bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so you don't have to leave home to collect.
This Saturday, Fame Frequency turns up the 13 with the ultimate workout party. It's Fame Frequency. Sweat, sweat and sweat to the music. Mixed by King Dash, DJ Denver and DJ Albrecht. Live from 9 p.m. to midnight on Fame 95 Hits, 92 FM and RETV. Online at One Spot Media and on Mixcloud at Fame Frequency. Get ready to party with me. You're energized up, buddy. Jenny, you know, VIP soon. Watch yourself area. Fame Frequency Sweat Saturday, November 6th. Powered by Sweater Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. Grace Tropical Rhythms, the taste that makes you move. And by course, bringing value home.
Both sides of the story.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com live on your smart devices all over the world. And taking your calls on 876-922-4112 876-922-4112 Paul Harrison, we see you're sharing a document with us. We're just trying to... Did it happen today? Was it today? When was the event? Or it is to come. We'll call you off air, Paul Harrison. Thank you very much for your message. Yes. Delana, we're still awaiting the contact information. In the meantime, let's continue and go to Lloyd. Lloyd says, good day, Mr. Dervan. Rasta, no, I'm on love how you want to point. No problem message. Very simple. Love always. Lloyd, thank you very much for your message. And let's go across to YouTube and see what's happening. Yeah, we did clear a couple of those already. So that takes us now to another of the features of this program, both sides of the story. Power 106 FM, we give you a mix. But Time Magazine publishes through, they call it Time Health. They publish updates every single day around 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon. And in today's publication, this story is the pandemic within the pandemic. 5 million COVID-19 orphans. Ouch. Oh no, that's terrible. The pandemic within the pandemic. 5 million COVID-19 orphans. How many of us even gave a thought to that? Well, it's just hitting me right now. The pandemic within the pandemic. 5 million COVID-19 orphans. Means COVID-19 took away the parents of these children. And the story says Aiden James of Fresno, Texas, is only 8 years old, but he has some very strict rules about how the world should work in the age of the pandemic. For starters, there's the business of avoiding unmasked people. They don't have their masks on, he'll tell his mother Ebony, a middle school principal, when he sees an uncovered face on the street or in a store. That's not right. They're making other people sick. Then there's the rule about spraying the room before bed. Ever since Aiden's father, Terrence, died February 19, Aiden, the youngest of 3 children, has been sleeping in his mother's room, but that was where his father slept, which means that was the room where COVID-19 once lived. Is it safe? Aiden will ask Ebony. Is it safe? She will promise him that it is, but he won't believe it until she sprays the room with Lysol. And even then, he's not convinced that his world is not a place of mortal menace. Aiden is just one of more than 140,000 American children or U.S. children who have lost a parent or caregiving grandparent during the course of the pandemic. That's according to a new study in pediatrics. Aiden is just one of more than 140,000 U.S. children who have lost a parent or caregiving grandparent during the course of the pandemic, according to this new study in pediatrics. And those numbers, terrible as they are dwarfed by the estimated 5 million children worldwide who have suffered a similar loss. In the U.S., the great orphaning is not hitting all demographic groups equally. For every one white American child orphaned, 1.8 Hispanic American children, 2.4 Black Americans, and 4.5 Native Americans and Native Alaskans were struck. We were already aware that minorities were disproportionately affected by COVID-19 mortality, says Alexandra Blenkinsop of Imperial College in London, a co-author of the pediatrics paper. However, we were surprised by the degree to which these inequalities were magnified when looking at children losing their caregivers. Minorities represent only 39% of the U.S. population, so to find 65% of children orphaned were of a racial or ethnic minority group is one of the most profound disparities
we're aware of. Those are the words of Alexandra Blenkinsop, Blenkinsop. The emotional and developmental blowback that children suffer after losing a parent can be severe, including lower educational attainment, slower brain development, and a higher risk of mental health disorders. My goodness. And when you multiply that by 5 million children worldwide, so 5 million children worldwide susceptible to lower educational attainment, slower brain development, and a high risk of mental disorders, as well as substance abuse after losing a parent. As the number of adverse events the child is exposed to increases, says Susan Hillis, lead author of the study and the researcher at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the risk of every major cause of death in adulthood increases. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, suicide. It's just really shocking how related those adverse childhood experiences are to adult death. The longer COVID-19 burns, says Time Health magazine, the more parents it's going to claim, and the more the population of pandemic orphans will grow. Children may be the one group hit least hard by the virus itself, but they're also the one that pays the highest price in the loss of the grown-ups around whom their small and fragile worlds are supposed to orbit. As of now, nearly 521.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been shipped to various U.S. states as of this morning, of which more than 423.9 million doses have been administered thus far. About 58.1% of Americans have been completely vaccinated. More than 248 million people around the world have been diagnosed with COVID-19 as of 1 a.m. Eastern Time today, and about 5 million people have died. On November 3, there were 517,236 new cases and 8,292 new deaths confirmed globally. It's still a hard road to travel and a mighty long way to go. But we were made for this. Human beings were made for this. And we just have to do what we have to do. Not just survive, but thrive. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Thursday, the 4th of November, 2021. Removing finger rights and having wit moves on, where all your piety nor wit shall roll it back to cancel half a line, where all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. Both Sides of the Story. 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 Both sides of the story.
Side to the stone. Side to the stone.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.